thingy, my boober, the microphone. All right, I got that on. I got that on. We'll see if Wesley gets on or not. I saw that he liked my post from yesterday, sharing this out there on Dirt Kart Racer, but I didn't hear from him whether or not he was going to be able to get on. But we will keep the show going with interaction from the comments. If you guys have comments, questions, concerns, looks to me like I'm gonna go racing tomorrow. We're gonna try some Reaper racing up here up north. Weather looks to be like it's gonna behave itself. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Oh, who does? Oh. Yeah. Been working some tires this week and looking at them right now. I think I one thing about Reapers is that sizing is, if you want some stagger in them, you got to get a little aggressive, in my opinion. At least I did with the outsides. Hopefully they're going to hold true. Matter of fact, I'm talking to you guys. Why don't I check some stuff? Got the set of Reapers on the GTR rims. Getting the trailer ready. Nice. Yeah, so after the week off, and was I off the week before or not? No, wait. Yeah. When did I go on vacation? Yeah. So I've been off. This will be 2 weeks, and be racing tomorrow night after work. So hopefully I'm gonna load up the trailer, and hook it up to my truck, ready to go to leave from work. Hoping these tires stayed staggered. How goes it? They don't feel super sticky. Maybe I was gonna wipe them again today, but I think I'll let them set. Yeah, it's tough. The weather's been a bugger. I mean, when I was on vacation last week, Friday was just an utter downpour, and then of course, I can pay attention to everybody racing and everybody's it's funny, hurricane or tropical storm, whatever you want to call it. Debbie's my wife's name, so I was having fun with that my wife was costing racers races because the weather was coming through. Debbie was ruining races. she didn't think it was that funny. I thought it was hilarious. So there's that. Yeah, I still don't have a full grip on the Reapers yet because I haven't run them all that much. But these, I mean, look pretty righteous. And they've been sitting a while. Hopefully they stagger correctly. It very well could be. I have run Reapers twice. I have run them one time in a Reaper clone class. And the set, I'm actually not going to take that set with me because I was curious how heavy you could go internally with them. I think that I don't want to say damaged the tire, but I was way too aggressive. They were fantastic for a burst of speed, 5-6 laps, and then everybody else was able to keep the same grip level, or maybe my grip level was too much and I got too tight. I can't remember that far back. But it definitely, after about 5 or 6 laps, I was about 4 ounces on a right side tire because I was curious how aggressive you could be with them. And I think that was too much. I think it's a very real thing when Terry Odom says that don't go crazy internal. They don't much care for it. That was my experience with that. This set here, I did run these one time on the open. I ran them in practice and I ran them in the heat race. And again, my handling's been off on the open chassis, so it is what it is. But tire wise, plenty of grip, worked really well. I plan on running these tires, but I do have some pretty much straight ups that I am going to bring with me as well. Yeah, but I have heard that surfacing them, they really like it. I may go ahead and that brand new set, just make sure they're. A matter of fact, I've been wiping these. They don't feel like they should feel. So honestly, I might. They do. They have internal done to them. I might throw them on the surfacer tonight and get a fresh cut on them for tomorrow. Um, I don't think dropping durometer on reapers works all that great unless you're overly aggressive with them. But just my opinion. Uh, Thanks, man. Yeah. Uh, uh, Vacation was awesome. Just to let you know, if anybody follows my Facebook, I don't post a ton of crap. I do some racing stuff on my Facebook and usually share, just racing stuff and what have you. But personal life, I do family stuff. And I swam in Lake George. That was the very first. We rented a pontoon boat and had a really good time and just went for a dip out in the ocean out in the lake. 4 of 7 days for those of you who care. I love freshwater swimming, and that's what I did. There is a lake up by where I stayed called 13th Lake, and they have a private beach for the people who we had an Airbnb up there, and we went for a dip in 13th Lake 3 days, and then we swam in Lake George the fourth day there. So, yep, big fan of swimming. I have a pool, but I prefer natural water. But yeah, vacation was fantastic. It was good to, as much as you hate to come home, it's like, back to reality, back to work and everything. It was nice to open the garage and go back to racing also. So there is a bonus for that. Are you making Hunter's Town for Reaper race this week? Sorry, the 24th. That would be next week, correct? Let me check my watch. 15th, 20th, 10th. So I'm racing tomorrow. Reaper race, 750 to win. We'll see how that goes. Past two races I've been taken out, so it is what it is. That's clone racing. Um, we'll see how this goes, and then I believe next Saturday, whatever date that is, the 24th, I believe I'll be at AMS, the Bill Layfield Memorial race down at AMS. I was asked if I was going to bring the open there, and technically I could. I mean, I have a truck now. I could put the open in the back of the truck and bring the trailer. So I bring the clone and the open and run two classes. I could do that, or I could just bring the clone and run one class. They're 50 lap races, or I could run two classes, burst tires. But chances are my funds are they have taken a freaking hit, man. Um, I am I'm scraping by, getting towards the end of the season here on what funds I have, sponsorship money, and what money I've been able to collect. So chances of me going that far are slim to none. I would love to get back down to Hunterstown eventually here, especially do some Reaper racing because I think Reaper's a good tire. Uh, despite all the Maxxis lovers out there, so far I got nothing but praise for them. They seem to be a decent tire. Just with every tire there are tracks that like them better, and what you can and can't do to a tire is very real. Um, some tires don't like to be overprepped. Bursts don't like to be overprepped, in my opinion. The Reapers seem to be kind of sort of along that line as well, at least from my little experience. So there's that. Way Manning, South Carolina. Sweet. I love racing down south. I do. I've liked it since. When was the first time I ever went down south? I want to say that I ran Capital City Speedway in Virginia. Uh, I couldn't even tell you what year. 09? 09. I think maybe it's 09. I have the picture inside. I got to bring those out here. But VDKA. I ran that race. I went this first time I went down south. HT5s. I ran HT5s because I didn't know a whole bunch about Maxxis. I just heard Maxxis, so I bought some HT5s off eBay or something like that and went racing with those. But I loved it ever since I ran that. Even though it's super long day, when you do those state races, if anybody hasn't been to those state races, they're a spectacle to see. There's so much racing going on. You get to watch a lot, but they are an all day endeavor. I mean, gates at 6, 7, 8 in the morning, whatever it is, track prep, and you're sitting there, you're bench racing, hanging out. It's just an all day affair. And then depending how many freaking carts you get, it could be one, two, three, 4 in the morning. Big O stuff like that can turn into huge freaking endeavors that people are there for a very, very long time. Um, it's I suggest it to anybody who hasn't experienced that, new kart racers or anything like that. If you haven't been to a big state race or something big like that, at least go to experience, go to watch it one time to see the amount of effort a lot of people are putting into their programs, putting in their tire programs, putting in that they have, you're walking by people's trailers and they have scales set up and they're hitting numbers and they're just there is a lot that goes into racing, these little things we call go-karts. And the fast guys are fast for a reason because they put a lot of effort into it. They have a lot of money invested into it, but they've put a lot of effort into their programs. Cool. Here, yeah, I got to turn my. Always got my brightness down to save my battery, and I can't see. I'm an old man. There we go. All right. The 50/50 black sand Acrosol is more so as a pre-race wipe. It should bring in the tire a lot quicker. If you want a more lasting performance out of black sand, I would suggest putting straight coats of black sand on, say, the Sunday prior. So you race Saturday night, say, and then Sunday when you decide to do your tires, or I'm telling you, you might want to do your tires, get them clean, get them surfaced, whatever you do to prep to get the tire ready for prep. Wipe, wipe a coat on, wait a while, 45 minutes. I don't know. How you got all this time. I'd say get a good, 2, 3, maybe 4 coats of straight black sand on them. Uh, and you'll know if you have overloaded the tire because it will cease to absorb into the tread. Um, but I would say, 2, 3, maybe 4 on the heavy-handed side of coats of straight black sand. Let them sit all week. Don't touch them. Just let them be. There's a component in black sand that likes to absorb, and it takes a while to absorb into the tire. Then when you get to the track, wipe with 50/50 black sand Acrosol at track. That should excite the tire, bring it in quicker, and allow the pure black sand to do a majority of the work. But yeah, it's when you cut black sand with Acrosol, with quick dry, track tag, quick dry, whatever you're using to cut it, you are reducing the effects of the prep by 50%. It makes it dry a lot quicker, but you're not getting the full blown pow of what the product can do. So you might want to try that, see if that helps. It's yeah, it could be good. Uh, yeah, I know. Three. I'm sure that would go well, David. Right? I've been in the Open once this year, but yes, the Scott Warning Memorial. There's another bucket list race. If I fall into some money by then, I hear. Is that a Vaga track? Does that track like Vaga? I'm pretty sure it likes Vaga yellows, and they're kind of my jam. Uh, I thought I would when I raced last. Where did I race? Adrenaline Mountain. I won my heat race and going away. I had a good 3, 4 carts on second place there. I wasn't really charging that hard, but my tires were on point in the clone class. So my Vegas skills are still somewhat there. I don't get to run Vegas all that much since I've been going, local track racing, Burris, and then obviously I've been running Reapers. It was the first time this year I ran Vegas besides the feature with the Open. But still, I think I still have my Vega chops. What I'm able to do to Vegas to make them work really well seem to work really good in clone racing. But I digress. That didn't go so well in the feature. But yes, the 3 grand. Yeah, that would. I'm not. I'm not going out of my way to go any that far for clone racing. Being my skill set isn't. I'm. I'd say I'm fair so far at clone racing. I'm okay at it. I wouldn't say I'm. I didn't I haven't gotten awesome at it quite yet, but I'm fair at it. I get the concept, and I've seen the lines that you have to run, the runs that you have to get. It is definitely a way different skill set. I've said it a million times. I'll keep on saying it because it is. It's it's definitely something that should help my open racing and in general. If you're curious about what going from open to clone, what it's going to be like is when you have such a lack of horsepower compared to what you're used to having. It's a lot. It's a lot to get used to. Choosing the lines, knowing what happens, getting freight train. That's upsetting. Getting moved out of the way. I mean, that was definitely something that was weird. Um, uh, the clone races are aggressive, and I'm not mad at anybody. It's just they're aggressive, and I when I was getting into this class, I was told myself I'm not going to be. I don't want to be that guy that comes in and starts pissing people off and roughing them up too hard, because that's, I had a reputation a while ago in UAS that I was an aggressive guy. Well, I think there's a big discrepancy between UAS aggressive and clone aggressive, and that I might need to wick it up a little. I still want to remain clean, but I want to wick up my aggressiveness, maybe just a tick more. Take different. I don't want to say take positions. You have to know when you have a run. I think that last race I think I had a line on the guy. I think I had the corner. I just didn't take it because I was trying to be fair, and it might have been one where I should have taken that position, but it is what it is. What do we got? They run Reaper and Glow. Yep, cool. Uh, you can do it. Anything, being there powder coated for durability. I don't say, being I'm in the bodywork field. So if anybody doesn't know, I work in cars for a living. Um, I do, if you hit a deer, I'm the guy that fixes it. Anyway, bare metal, and especially if you're anywhere that uses calcium, that's not good. So painting the bottom of your chassis. I personally don't do it. I'm a person who races stuff and uses stuff. You could take I mean, once a year, it's cool. Or if you want to have it media blasted and re powder coated, I don't see any harm in that. But bare metal is not good. Any kind of moisture, anything like that, it's going to cause rust. It's going to cause failure of more of the powder coat or anything like that. So if you want to take the time, if you clean your chassis and everything, if you want to be that specific, get underneath it and brush touch scratches, or give it a fresh coat. It's not going to hurt anything. I mean, it's not a flexibility thing. It's just you're protecting the metal like any other metal, like a fender on a car. If you leave you got cracked paint or something like that, and the bare metals left to the elements, it is going to develop rust, and then rust goes just bad ways. So I would say that it's not a bad idea if you want to do it. Is it detrimental to it? I don't think so. Once a year, I kind of, when I'm tearing everything down and I got the chassis there and upside down, give it a nice. If you want a good adhesion, I would suggest a Scotch Brite or something like that. Like we have at work, we have red and gray scuffs. It's basically the equivalent of 600 and 800 grit sandpaper. And I would scuff the areas around the scratches and then give it a brush touch, or a spray can, spray bomb, whatever, to get that. And that will, if you scuff the area, the paint will adhere to the surface a lot better than if you don't do anything. If you don't do anything, if you got any kind of grease on there, that first things first, make sure everything's clean, and then the paint will stick better. So that is I suppose, an area of my expertise, just not in carts. It's different. Uh, open tires. Wait. Mm-hmm. A skinny kid from South Carolina. I wonder who that could be. Hmm. Very fast kid that pronounces his name differently than us Northerners say their last name is. Huh? Pinks and blues last year. We run Vegas. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really would like to try the white Maxes. I've heard really good things. Like they are comparable to, they can be comparable. We'll say that they can be comparable to a Vega Yellow if prepped accordingly. So maybe, Maxis's idea of getting into that field type of thing, kind of because they don't really have a soft compound. They've run so long with just pinks and blues and been a down south type tire or a harder track tire, that the whites are, I hear they're super competitive. They do really well. I don't have a set yet. Eventually it'd be kind of cool. Uh, Open tire. Yeah. We are on burst 33 only. Yep. Everybody is Austin Dillon. Yes. Throw away. How old before you would throw away a set of bursts? I have a set of 2000, so they still work well, but I know the day is coming. I have to get rid of them. Um, so this is a debate of mine. Matter of fact, the only tires I have, 33s that I have, are 2019s. Now, mind you, I have a uh, new out of the wrapper 2019 that I'll be running next week. Um, you're going to get people that say that newer rubber is always faster. Depends on the surface. If it's a hard surface that takes a harder tire, not so much, in my opinion, anyway. But there are people that they're willing to beat up their tires no matter what, wipe them to the heavens, get that bite, if it's chemical groove, whatever it is. But if they're still working, great. I can tell you up until 2 years ago, the track that I know, I mentioned a Paradise Speedway. It's no longer a thing, but I was regularly running 2016s on that tire on that track only because it took a tire that was harder and they were a bit worn out, so they're a little thinner. It just worked out properly. I Burris last for freaking ever. I just keep a good surface on them, and if they're working well for you, we keep on running them. There is going to come a point where you're going to notice that people with 2024s are gone or newer are going to start to pull you. And you're not going to even chemically be able to keep up with them because that fresh rubber, it just meets the surface a little better. Once a tire hardens up enough, it's going to give up a certain amount of grip, and even chemically you're going to have a hard time getting that back to where you're going to need fresh rubber in order to kind of start that process all over again. Just my opinion though. There are people that run super old tires that do very well. The harder, faster tracks, thinner, harder burst 33s, I would argue that they'd be a better choice. I mean, if it's really a track that's going to tear up tires, harder is going to be better. Jump forward. Nice. Uh, yeah. The So the Austin Dillon thing. That's what killed me, was that if you were watching NASCAR, I watch NASCAR, or I try to catch it, and I was watching it, and man, when he passed Denny, I was like, dude, yeah, good for you, man. That is super. I love that, just the underdog. I won't say, the little team that could, because they have Kyle Busch. And RCR obviously, has no problem winning usually. They're just, a pretty dry spell right now. Um, Rooting for him. I'm a Ford guy, but I was like, yeah, good for you, dude. And all right, that stupid caution. And I almost think that, everybody's blaming Wreckhouse, Ricky Spinhouse, whatever you want to call him, on that. I saw Priest do some dumb crap too. And I, it was probably a little bit of both, but I was just like, what, guys, what are you doing? Arguing over space all the way back there. But that listen, I was a Logano fan. There's no say I got a somewhere around here. I have since stopped kind of rooting. I wish Logano well. His antics have gotten to me. I love I was a Kurt Busch fan a long time ago. Same type of thing. I wished him well, but he was driving Chevy at one point in time. I'm a Ford guy. I won't do that. But it's like, all right, I'm going to stop support Joey. But nobody deserved to be uh, ran into. We'll say, I'll keep my language okay on here. From 4 cars back. That's dirty. That is super dirty. Could he have gotten away with it if he only hit Logano? Absolutely. I think they would have let it fly if it was only Logano that went around. But when they saw his hands turn left and he hooked Hamlin, dude, you're kind of forcing NASCAR's hand to punish him, and they had to draw a line. I think everybody up and down the pit road is like, whoa, pump the brakes on how aggressive you can be. There's wrecking the dude on the last corner, last lap, two dudes. But all right, there's an argument to be said how aggressive Denny is, how aggressive Joey is, and what. But every instance they show, the car continues on. They didn't wreck two people in order to get that win. So I understand their call. I also understand that people are like, oh, we're making the a sissy sport. It's like, man, well, I guess we'll see how aggressive somebody can be from here on out. With somebody in NASCAR, it is what it is. I didn't think they. Yeah, they probably should have made the call that time. Is pump the brakes. No, you can't run to just like Kevin Harvick, and they were talking about, like, in the Cars tour, they had a guy wreck a guy on the last lap to get the win, and they nope, you don't get that type of thing. So, but then if they DQ'd Dylan right there in that instant, Denny's in the wall. Do they give Denny the win because they scored him second? At the time of caution, do they give him the win, or do they give who was it? But drawing a blank here. The 45, because I believe he got third. Did they give him the win because Hamlin was in the wall? So it was this very sticky situation, and I think I think when it happened, they were just like, "Hey, we're going to punish this guy, but let's pump the brakes and we'll act like we're thinking real hard about what we're going to do." And yeah, just I don't know. Okay, we're back to the chat. Sorry, guys, I got off on my NASCAR tangent here. Thoughts on treads, Hoosiers. NASCAR tracks are all right. Treads. My thoughts on treads. Treads work awesome on certain situations. Will they compete on a track that takes slicks? No, they will be slow. They specific type of track, or if the rule is that you can only run treads, fantastic. But if a track gets what we call good, if you get a great grip line, if there's prep being used on slicks, that type of thing, slicks, much like we're just talking about NASCAR when you're looking at Chicago, the guys on the wet weather tires, which AKA a tread, were giving up speed to a slick because there's far more contact patch on a slick. Yes, there aren't grooves to get hook and whisk away the dirt and everything, but they're also those little lugs heat up a lot quicker. They dissipate. Usually a softer compound, that type of thing. If a track is prepped for slicks, chances are, not always, chances are that a tread is going to be much slower than a slick. But treads in general, if everybody's on them, if the track takes it, if it's a super loose, the track doesn't hold together, and you get somewhat of a cushion or something like that, I think there's no racing's racing, man. Break out the treads and the tear offs and let her rep, man. I think the treads are not a bad tire. I don't prefer them, but that is what it is. Okay. Nice. Yeah, NASCAR gets in their own way. This is the first thing I think they got right in a long time. They had to do something. They had to say, "This is, you want to know where the line is? This is the line. You cannot wreck two people on the last lap. Here's the line." Do they have it in literature for people to read? Like, okay, you can't do this. Everybody in the garage knew how far you could push it. Dylan was taking a chance that this is how far I'm going to push it, and see, force them to make a call. They made a call. Here's the line. You can't wreck two people on the last lap to get the win. What RPM do I limit my clone to? My clone builder doesn't like any more than 7,200. So usually I keep it around 69, 7 grand. I probably could wick it up a little bit more. Being when I'm running like a clone 350 or a clone 375, I have to. Do I have to put weight on? I don't think. I needed some more right side bite, so I have a 10 pound lead weight on my right side. So I actually weighed 385 for the clone 375. Um, but I could probably put a tooth or two on it. And I've been a little, because I'm new to clone racing. I don't want to go and turn my freaking engine 7,500, blow it up, or I don't even know what the end RPM is. I was told 7,200 is where they want it run, or max type of thing, and I've been running it just sub that. And I do the same thing with my open. They tell me you can turn that open 12 grand. I run it on the high end 11,000 RPM. I'm just one of those people that I don't. I'd rather find speed in other ways than turning an engine too hard and causing you can't win a race if you don't finish a race. If I got a blown up motor in either class, it doesn't do anybody any good, and it costs me money. So I'm trying not to turn it too hard. I'm curious what would happen if I turn it a little bit harder, but I'm still iffy on it. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, what's better, Hoosier or Maxxis? Depends where you're at. Um, Hoosier, if you're talking treads, uh, Hoosier has a longer record in treaded tires, but I hear the new Maxxis treads are pretty decent. Just the word of mouth, people saying, "Hey, these things are pretty good." I looked at the lug pattern. Okay, Maxxis is no in our little world of kart racing. Maxxis is huge. They put up a lot of money, but they're also in. I mean, they as little bit as they have. Dunlop dominates it, but motocross, they do have motocross tires. I don't think it's supercross tire, but they have motocross tires. Obviously, ATVs. They have mountain bike tires. It's a bigger company than actually just our little world of karting. But they know what they're doing, even with treads and lugs and stuff like that. Lugs on for the treads. So like I said, I think the Hoosiers just have a lot more time. But I believe Maxxis is probably nipping on the heels, especially with a lot of tracks starting to think about, hey, we're gonna run a ghost, we're gonna run treads. You can't do this to it, you can't do that to limit the cost of kart racing in general. But uh, Hoosier probably has right now. I got nothing against Maxxis right now, just because of their longer track history. They probably have maybe a little better tire. I don't actually know. I've seen them run on the big PA wings and stuff like that, the big 500s, two strokes and stuff like that, the 450s, and they hold up really well there. So I would say generally Hoosier's probably better right now, but I wouldn't count Maxxis out at all. Okay, here at home. Yeah, it's tough. I'm a prep guy. I like prep. Obviously, my channel is track tech right there. There's I've always I like the art of prepping. I know that it's a buzz thing to, oh, there's too much prepping in it. It's a element. It's just like gearing. It's just like it, engine stuff. It's like setup. It's another element to what we do for racing. And I don't disagree that prepping is hard to do. I don't and getting it right. And some people have a little, they have more experience at it, so they're better at it. I totally understand that, and I understand why some people would not want to prep, but I happen to like it. I think it's there's an art to it. It's not always cubic dollars. I think I run fairly well. I mean, I have, at least locally, top five speed, and I don't have the tire budget that a lot of people do. I don't have the. I run a 2017 Phantom Recon. I don't have the budget that a lot of people do, and I have top five speed. I thought that the last race I ran, I know there was 9 carts or something like that, but I arguably could have won that race. against people with newer equipment, better tires. But I knew what I was doing with the Vega Yellow. So uh, I like prep because to me it kind of my prep knowledge might uh, negate some of my choices in handling, how I set my cart up, how I drive my cart. I don't know, just my bag of excuses. But I can understand why people don't like the prep game. But I don't think bursts need a ton of prep anyway. At least up here, it's that I can't be at every track to know what every type of tire or every burst needs for this or that, or what the fast guys say they need. But at least around my area, I don't do anything to my 33s that I don't do to anything else. I don't go crazy. Usually it's just wipes at track. Um, I'm way crazier with prepping Vega yellows than I am anything else. And I'm obviously learning these here Reapers. So we'll see what they like here shortly. Yeah. Yep. Take a set to 700 RPM. Yeah. Some people don't like to turn their engines harder. They feel as if clones don't need to be really run that hard because it could cause an issue. I don't know. The the lighter oil I run, they seem to found that they dyno a little better with the type of what is that called? Shoot, on the blank. I put it back out in the thing. I want to say Van K. Drawing a blank. Dino K oil. It's a light oil. Just got to be a little more frequent changing it out. Make sure the wear protection's there. But seems to work good. I don't know. I just listen to what the engine builder says. I'm not a 4-stroke guru by any stretch of the imagination. I got very basics. Run this, run that, run that. Okay, and then I work on tires and I work on chassis setup and go from there. Driving. Okay, if you are, I guess you didn't specify. Um, are you talking treads? And when you're talking about Hoosier or Maxxis in Florida, because there's an argument to be made for Vega yellows or Vegas in general down in Florida. I know a lot of people that run yellows and specifically only yellows down in Florida. My dad runs Vega, or my dad. Yeah, my dad lives in Ocala. And he guys down there they just race with those sandy tracks, really like the Vega yellows. But yeah, I, I I haven't run treads in so long. I'm kind of talking out my ass here if I'm just going by what I've read, what I've heard people say, type of thing. So uh, yeah, that's Richard's my buddy. Richard and I did battle. Right, check it out. My last coup de grace there. Central New York UAS champion. I beat Richard for that title. In 2022 was the last time I was actually running pretty good in the open. But it's different, Rich. It is different, but yes, I am having fun. I don't prefer being taken out. I can tell you that. Uh, as it turns out, I have a temper. If you clean me out or I get wrecked, I don't want. That's probably all right. Eventually, I'll have to do a video on it. I never once in 20 years have thrown my nose piece into somebody's pits. I have never walked by them and yelled at them. I've never caused drama, unnecessary drama. I've never been mad at somebody nudging me out of the way. As it turns out, if I'm clone racing and somebody wipes me out, I tend to lose my temper. It's like, because I don't race that way. Moving somebody, and I'm always apologetic. I try and give spot if I happen to wreck somebody. If I spin it, I give them position back. But I have not once come off the track and screamed at anybody and been that upset. But on track, it's tough, man. There's been a couple times where, and not that I thought I had a winning cart, I thought I had a cart that was a decent top five, and getting roughed up is I don't do it. I try not to do it to other people, and it's a, I hate that about me. But I'm super competitive, so it doesn't surprise me. Uh, but it takes me very little time to calm down. I after I'm screaming mad in my helmet or whatever happens on track when I come off, I just need give me 5 minutes and I'm chill. And I would advocate for anybody to be that way. There's no need to cause a fuss. Um, and I have over the past 20 some year 22 years, whatever, 23 years, 22 years, um I've seen the police at the track numerous times, and I didn't think that was possible, but it is. I've seen that a couple times, and I'm like, really, the cops? Ooh, that was aggressive. I mean, they are carts, right? I mean, I suppose if it was like a 10,000 win race or something, somebody wiped me. If they Austin Dillon to me for 10,000 to win, the police would probably be called. I'm sure that you could make me lose my temper, good enough for that for like 10 grand to win. But if it's a Saturday night race, which is what these occasions were that I saw the police at the kart track, I thought, well, that's strange. What to do? Tires. Oh, I was jibber jabbering here. What do you think the Reapers are coming out at? So this is what I did. I blew them. If anybody wants I don't know, say a tip, I've done this. I did a video on it. Blow your tires up. I just keep them inflating. I wrap my tires are tape around it. I keep inflating the tire until I see where I want it to be. So usually you put a 1/4 inch above where you want your tire to be set, and then you heat the tire, and then cold water, shock the tire. The videos or anybody's used to it. These Reapers have been such a pain in my patootie. I actually went 1/2 inch over where I wanted them to be. Now I checked them last night. They were a 1/4 inch over where I thought they were going to be, but I didn't put that excessive amount of air in them again to kind of let them normalize and see where they're at. So please be over 34. It's all I'm asking. If they're around 34, cool. 34 and an eighth. Not too shabby. I'm gonna put air in this though. Um, put air in that for tomorrow to keep the size. And we'll check this one. I believe this one was the one that was 34 1/4 last night. So they've come down a little bit. Uh, just a hair over 34 and an eighth. Perfect. So I'm gonna put air back in these to preserve them for tomorrow to make sure they don't get any smaller than that. But I put if anybody needed reference, I put my hot box at 140 degrees and I let them just chew in there for a while and get nice and warm. Um, yeah, yes. So I will say this about burrs. Burrs are a pain in the ass to keep sized, but they move easier. Reapers, they don't that's my one gripe if you want to call it a gripe. Like I said, my I haven't run them all that much, but my one gripe is that it's extremely hard to shrink the left rear if you want to do that. If you're looking to get anything more than say an inch and a quarter rear stagger, if you wanted, say an inch and a half rear stagger, it's a real pain to get the left rear to shrink. They are, I mean, if you get them to 32 and 5/8, you're doing super good. So I thought that I would go exorbitant on the right sides and get them up past 30. They are sitting normally at about 33 and 3/4 to 33 and 7/8. And then I came back to them and I was like, man, they're 33 and 3/4 again. So I exceedingly went past that because they have shrunk since then. I'm curious I guess I'd have to talk to Randy Ransom about this. I've had the opinion for a while that maybe prep has something to do with tire shrinking. So is the breakdown of the rubber actually causing the rubber to constrict when it, so you break down the rubber, you would think that maybe it expand, heat will make it expand, okay, but once the chemicals are in the tire, can it cause the, the molecules of the tire to and tighten up type of thing? It's these type of things. If you're ever curious how I come up with so many video ideas, it's things like that that I just right out of the blue. I'm like, I wonder if prep shrinks tires, and then I get my brain thinking about it. What are the, what could or could not be the cause of that? Um, see, I've been in here 45 minutes. I'm assuming that Mr. Wesley is busy. I apologize for that, guys. That eventually, like I said, and I've said it a ton of times, he's a busy guy. We'll get him on here when we can. His his chassis knowledge is definitely far superior to mine, and obviously he's been doing this about as long as I have, more of a higher tiered level than I have, but two different divisions. Like I think that's why when we do get on here and we can talk back and forth, our experiences are different. He did a little bit of open racing. And I've done a lot of bit of open racing, and vice versa. He has done more clone racing than I have. Why are my glasses so freaking crooked? That's driving me nuts. I look weird without glasses. Um, I am not running Saturday. My daughter is turning 22. 22 this year. 22. 2002 to the 22 this year, or next week, and we are taking Saturday to go out to dinner and some birthday shopping. I know she's a adult, but I am still dad, and we are still parents. Um, that's why I'm racing tomorrow night. Saturday, I am not racing. I should be a video too, balancing home life and racing. We all love to race. We all love to go to the track, but there has to be, if your family doesn't go with you, how much racing is too much. That's a, you know, uh, I have a supportive wife. I have one that doesn't go to races that often, and it's okay. It's she's spent years taking care of the household, and it's just like I said, she supports my racing, but she also, it's not really her thing, which is fine. I did, however, get tickets to Watkins Glen, so I'm going there. The 15th, next month, on Sunday, to go watch the NASCAR race. And I said, will you go with your husband to go watch racing? And she said yes. So we're going to go do that. For those of you who don't know, Watkins Gun's like an hour from me. I'm going to Champion tomorrow, Richard. I got to leave work at 5 o'clock. I'm probably going to be late getting down there. Is what it is. I'm always behind. But I'll have tires on the cart. Blow these up so they don't shrink anymore, because that actually will work out a lot in my favor if they remain that size, and I think I could keep them that size at the track. Do that thing I learned from the Pisas: before you wash tires, if you put air in them, you don't if there's any type of heat in the tire at all, you don't shock the tire to be smaller or bigger, or smaller, it would shrink type of thing. So when you come off track, if you're going to wash your tires, put a little bit of air in your tires. If you don't want them to shrink, then wash the tires. I did a video on that. I thought that was a really good concept. Obviously, nothing I considered before, but why not? If it's worked for them, they've been racing a really long time, and it's worked for them. They find it okay. You learn from everybody. It's just not that I just like to absorb knowledge, and then when I absorb knowledge, I can relay that stuff to you guys. I think that really works. But yeah, hopefully they're fast. Last time I was there, I was not fast. um, I had my gearing correct. I don't know. the track was a lot like that adrenaline. So I always, I don't want to say, if a cart turns well when you first get there, you know your staggers are correct for the center of the corner, and then you can work on grip. And when I went to adrenaline, that's how I felt that I got into the corner, even though during practice it was dusty and loose and all that. The cart turned, and that is a very good thing. It's you get a little behind. That's when people talk about unloading fast, that is one of the things that I think they are taking that into um, consideration. That when you unload fast, your cart wants to turn well, and then once your cart turns well, it's obviously not too loose in. It turns well in the center. It seems to get off the corner. Then you can work on overall grip of the tires, getting yourself into the track type of thing. So uh, if you're wondering how people say, we unloaded fast, that's why. It wasn't that your tires were spot on sometimes because the track isn't in practice what it is going to be for the feature. It is that the cart turns well and you can go to work just building that grip for the feature. Um, or heat race for that matter. But yes. Kyle giving up some tires. Yeah, I because I ran with him. That last and it was coming out. He's like, "Hey, put air in those before you wash them." I'm like, "What is this?" I never heard of that, and it's good to know. Um, do I think it makes that big of a difference? Possibly, but why? If it's not hurting anything, just go ahead and do it. Takes 3 seconds. Psh, psh, psh. There, got a little air in your tires. Good to go. And we all, for the most part, throughout my entire racing career, we'll call it, I've struggled with keeping stagger in tires, and that is a very frustrating thing. And that may be one of the things that was uh, causing the stagger to go away. But yeah, cart is cleaned. I got to get some fuel, and gear is changed, ready for that track. I want to do so. The next couple videos, I guess, last 8 minutes here that I'm going to be doing the live. Um, I guess a little pre thing. I would like to do a video on track promotion and what I think could help a little bit. Um, it isn't a end all be all. Who the hell is this guy from Western New York telling anybody what to do? But just in general, I much like the have everybody following the same kind of clone rules and having the same weights and this and that. It'd be nice that you could like because of Rich and my experience with UAS, we can go anywhere in the United States and run UAS because we all have the same package. We all run under the same rules. This isn't the case with the clones. With the Predators, they have a gear rule and this rule and that rule. Um, I think that in general, promotion wise, if things like if you're going to have a Facebook page, if that's the majority of where you're doing your promotion from a cart track standpoint, is put on there in your information, put on there clone gear rule, your clone not rule, but clone gearing 1163. Just to give people a little bit of thing. And I'd like to see a few more posts. Like sometimes a track will mention, "Hey, race." Well, yeah. Well, is there a special race? Are you putting money up for it? There. I think that more could be done. It from the aspect of people say that cart counts are down a little more effort sometimes. I'm not saying all tracks. I'm not calling out on anybody in specific because I don't do that crap. But I just think in general, a few more posts by the Facebook track page just to let people know. Hey, this race is going on. Hey, there's going to be 200 to win in your clone 360. Hey, there's going to be this or that. I think that element could be a little better to kind of entice people to come out, type of thing. And then the information, where a specific address, put the and then under the information page, I think there could be a little more done. That video's not going to be right away because I kind of want to make a list of things that I wish this would happen, type of thing. What was the other one? Keep on turning around. There's lights freaking everywhere. Hey, there, like there, every single one. What was the other one I was going to do? Oh, I just frequency of oil changes. Um, I did a short on me changing the oil in the clone, and I want to do a video on frequency of changing your oil, the pros and cons, the this and that. That's definitely that might be the next video. That might be Sunday's video. If I can't think of anything else, I mean, I say think of anything else. You should sometime I should just scroll down the list of video ideas I've come up with because yes, they're carts, but there's so much more to racing than just carts. And the discussion points of racing and things that it just my brain goes off on tangents and I think of. Um, but yeah, oil changes that's definitely coming up here soon. Because when I do videos, it isn't, you should do this type of thing. I also want to hear from people. Hey, what does your engine builder suggest? What type of oil do you run? That if you run a thicker oil, are you changing your engine oil every 2 to 3 races? This they're the engagement from the videos is as useful as the video itself to some people. You can go down in the comments and you can hear from the racers, not just my opinion on something, but other people's opinion on, hey, go into the, I normally you would, if you're somebody who is a celebrity or something, they tell you don't read the comments. Well, far from a celebrity. This channel is far from a celebrity status. Read the comments, please do. There's very little to no negative comments in there. I'm pretty quick to, if there are, even there's only been a couple ever douchey kind of comments, and I handle them with sarcasm stuff. But usually, 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.9 times out of 10 on this channel, if you go into the comments, there is more information and other people chiming in about, hey, I do this, hey, I do that. And I think that is as useful, if not sometimes more useful than what I said, because it's all about engagement. It's all about people helping one another with kart racing and keeping it alive type of thing. So, um, any other, well, thank you very much, Mr. T. I was going to do a pity the fool, but that would have been low hanging fruit. Hey, buy some beard acting. Look at I have my beard acting shirt on today. Um, and No Shave November's coming up pretty shortly here, and I I know that kart racers, you most of you don't care about the beer product if I do any stuff and put it on this channel. I get it, like get back to the racing, Ben. Well, they're one of my sponsors, so if you're going to listen to NASCAR racers talk about this and that, then I'm sorry. One of my personal sponsors, channel sponsors, whatever, Track Tag, Beard Octane, you're gonna catch those videos too. And if you ever thought about getting some natural soaps and stuff like that, you know, get some from Beard Octane. I swear by them. I've been using them. I've had a beard for 2018, 19, a while. I've had a beard a while, and yeah, it's it's nice to take care of it and just pamper yourself. Just pamper yourself, Jonathan. It's fine. But all right, guys, I am coming up on an hour here. Unless Wesley chimes in the next 2 minutes, I doubt it's going to happen. Um, I will do another one of these next week. Hopefully, Wesley can chime in. Like I said, he's a busy guy. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. He's out chasing that cheddar, which is perfect for him. Do what you got to do, and we'll get him back on when he can. And but until then, I really appreciate you guys coming by. I will post this in Dirt Kart Racer. If you want to listen to me yammer on about stupid crap again, it'll be in there, or just replay it anytime you want. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go and do some stuff. I got to get this thing loaded into that trailer out there, get ready, get tires mounted, all that stuff. A busy night beyond this. Maybe I'll record a video for Sunday. It just never ends. But that's why vacation was great. All right, guys. I'll see you later.